Part 2, Chapter 8, Chloe Klopp's Feline Intervention.
Darn speculative residue. 72% of my optical sensors are currently registering the universe as deep-fried. Sam, we have company, 6 o'clock low. Biological entity, feline configuration.
Is it Cloclops? Did that murder fluff stow away?
Negative. The spectral signature doesn't match any terrestrial domestic breed. It appears to be indigenous and unthreatening. It's merely observing us. Judging us, perhaps?
A ship cat. 1 billion years old and they still needed someone to knock things off shelves. I like these gardeners more and more. Biff, forget the crime scene for a second. Smell the air. Really smell it. Beneath the old library smell.
Olfactory senses engaged. I am detecting high concentrations of complex terpenes, caryophyllene oxide, and, my word,
it smells like my lab on a Saturday night, Biff. Only bigger. Much, much bigger.
Your intuition is shockingly accurate, Sam. The atmospheric analysis indicates that approximately 40% of the ship's oxygen generation is coming from a specific botanical source. According to this spectral match, Sam, the Atlas vessel isn't just a ship. It contains a cannabis cultivation sector that is roughly the size of Rhode Island.
Chapter 9. The Captive Deity.
These readings are off the charts, sir. This ancient smoke shouldn't even burn.
Billions of years old, and it still smells like trouble. Hey, Biff, check the chronometer drift again. How many Earth hours have actually passed since we parked Betsy in the dirt? Because if we've got the time, I think a little stroll is in order. Maybe meander down to that cannabis tier? It feels deeply disrespectful not to sample a billion-year-old local harvest. For science. Obviously. Sam.
I believe the botanical tour will have to be indefinitely postponed.
Is the ship watching Earth?
Not just watching, Sam. It is tracking a specific resonance.
Let me guess. That's not a marker for a cosmic tourist trap.
Hardly. That red hexagonal perimeter is locked onto the Archuleta Mesa.
Precisely, Sam. Dulce, New Mexico, the site of the most heavily rumored deep underground bioengineering facility on the planet. And according to this billion-year-old control deck, something down there just triggered a critical warning. I don't suppose there's a help screen or a tutorial menu hidden in there? Maybe a billion-year-old frequently asked questions section? Negative, Sam. The interface operates on a base 144 numbering system, layered with a form of quantum-entangled syntax. The gardeners did not believe in user manuals.
They operated on the assumption that if you were sitting in this chair, you already possessed a planetary-scale intellect.
Okay, let's think about this. A billion-year-old ship doesn't just randomly start flashing a red hex over a subterranean military base in New Mexico. Not today. Not right while we happen to be standing here. Biff, what if that alarm isn't a warning about what Earth is doing naturally? What if it's related to the crime scene right here?
The resonance hypothesis. An extraordinary deduction, Sam. I am filtering the Dulce alarm's telemetry through the molecular shear patterns we recorded at the throne. You are entirely correct. The alarm is not tracking a human military experiment. It is tracking a piece of its own missing anatomy. The exact frequency of the God Rod that was snapped off this console 1 billion years ago, it is currently broadcasting from deep beneath the Archuleta Mesa.
So whoever mugged the pilot 1 billion years ago, they didn't just take the tech, they planted it in our backyard.
Sam? No. Wait,
what?
it's not the hardware? The telemetry is significantly more profound than a stolen component, Sam.
I was cross-referencing the frequency of the God Rod, but I missed the underlying bioharmonic.
This isn't a mechanical ping. It is a consciousness tether.
Translate that into Maui logic for me, Biff.
The biosignature, radiating from the ground facility, is a perfect match for the residual molecular memory on this throne.
The pilot. The being that was violently extracted from this vessel a billion years ago, it is currently imprisoned beneath the Archuleta Mesa. They had a captive deity in the basement. You know, this computing power is unbelievable. And these screens, they are real nice. Very easy on the eyes. No blue light fatigue at all. I mean it. Think about the rig we have back on Betsy. It's all hard light tactical readouts and analog dials. Could you replicate this kind of organic OS aboard the TR-3B? Give her a billion-year-old user interface upgrade?
Replicating a bioluminescent quantum interface aboard our craft presents several unique hurdles, Sam. OS replication feasibility. Betsy versus the seed. The medium. The screens here are not projected light. They are excitable etheric spores suspended in localized chronon fields. To replicate the easy-on-the-eyes effect, Biff would have to cultivate a microcolony of these spores inside the TR-3B's cockpit. The processing power? The Atlas vessel uses a crystalline mycelium network to calculate its base 144 math. The TR-3B relies on a highly advanced, but fundamentally terrestrial, quantum core. The interface method. This console lacks a keyboard because it reads intent. If ported to Betsy, Sam would have to fly the ship purely by thinking about it. A risky proposition, when his thoughts are currently drifting between cosmic mysteries and the Rhode Island-sized cannabis tier. However, if we can successfully extract a cutting from the biobotanical sector, I could theoretically splice a localized version of this display into Betsy's navigation console. It would certainly reduce your optical strain during deep tesseract jumps.
I knew I kept you around for a reason, Biff.
Chapter 10. The Exhausted Sentinels.
To the scientists, it looked like a captured star. They didn't know its name, they didn't understand its biology, but they monitored it 24 hours a day.
They thought the pilot was asleep. They thought the stasis field had severed its connection to the cosmos.
They were wrong on both counts. The pilot was the ship, and the ship was the pilot.
I mean it. Think about the rig we have back on Betsy. Could you replicate this kind of organic OS aboard the TR-3B?
It would certainly reduce your optical strain during deep tesseract jumps.
Oh, my AI core. They want to strip mine my navigation network because the colors are easy on the eyes.
Did you hear that?
Power grid fluctuation. We just had a microsurge in Sector 4.
The subject's vitals are completely flat. It's still under.
Right. Just the grid.
Chapter 11, the new directive. So that would be a technical no, then, as to fully replicating this computer system.
A hard, highly practical no, Sam. Unless you intend to spend the next 4 centuries cultivating a crystalline mycelium network in Betsy's air ducts.
I get it, Biff. I hear you. But I'm just saying, we could compromise. We put aside one of the spare surfboard repair bays in the back of Betsy and make a go of something as close to it as possible. Strip out the resin racks, install a localized biometric loop. And you're right about the spores. We'd have to keep them contained. Don't want billion-year-old quantum fungus getting into the sex wax.
Converting a surfboard repair bay into a zero-point organic processing core. Naturally. Why didn't I think of that?
Exactly. It's called vision, buddy. Besides, we have bigger fish to fry now. We know exactly where the pilot is. The ship didn't just give us clues, it handed us the GPS coordinates to a kidnapped cosmic deity.
All right, let's hit the greenhouse. Rhode Island is a big state to walk across, though. Gonna take us hours just to find the good buds.
Actually, Sam, walking will not be necessary, nor will it take hours. I was analyzing the floor's structural integrity. But it isn't just a floor. It is a localized transit matrix. The gardeners did not walk across this vessel, Sam. They glided. A gravitational slip wave.
Speak English, Biff. or at least surf jargon.
It's a localized, frictionless gravity current, MEDISIT. It manipulates the Higgs field directly beneath our feet. Think of it as an omnidirectional, invisible moving walkway operating in quick mode. You simply step onto the illuminated vector, lean your center of mass in your desired direction, and the ship's gravity carries you there at highly accelerated speeds without generating wind resistance or inertial shear.
So it's a billion-year-old, frictionless cosmic longboard?
If you insist on applying that specific taxonomy, yes. Shall we catch a wave, Sam?
The cosmic longboard. There was no lurch, no sudden kick of inertia.
Fascinating. This ancient machinery is still alive. On our immediate left, Sam, you will observe a multiphasic aquifer. Those towering, translucent columns are filtering liquid chronons into the ship's root system. It appears to operate on a principle of capillary action, but on a subatomic level. And above us, that lattice of pulsing violet veins is a quantum-entangled mycelial network. It acts as both the ship's structural reinforcement and its primary data bus. It is essentially a living fiber optic nervous system.
It's beautiful. The gardeners really didn't believe in hard angles, did they? Everything is grown, not built.
Precisely, a perfect synthesis of biology and engineering.
It makes our TR-3B look like a rudimentary collection of tin cans and wire by comparison. Well, don't tell Betsy that. She's sensitive. Understood, Sam. I brought the designated away mission piece. I'm hoping this Rhode Island-sized tier isn't just a bunch of seedlings. If these gardeners left any cured, 1 billion-year-old samples sitting around, I am absolutely trying them immediately. For the historical record, of course.
Given the stasis fields, preserving the rest of the ship, Sam, I calculate a 98% probability that you are about to encounter the most immaculately cured harvest in the history of the known universe.
Behold the highest strain.
I don't believe it. I thought my own speculative strain back home took some beating. I mean, I've engineered some masterpieces in my time, Biff. But look at this. It's dripping, Biff. Good Lord. It smells like a pre-smoke smoke. Just breathing near it is elevating my baseline. But look at this.
Initiating botanical audit. The genetic structure is astounding, Sam. It utilizes a base 144 chromosomal sequence. Those aren't just trichomes you are observing, they are microscopic zero-point energy batteries. The terpene profile is off the charts, featuring compounds that don't even exist on the periodic table back on Earth. Furthermore, Sam, considering our current orbital altitude and the fact that we are standing inside a billion-year-old sovereign vessel, parked in a lunar crater, I can confidently state that this is, quite literally, the highest strain available.
Biff, did you just make a joke? Because if you did, that was flawless.
I merely state the empirical facts, Sam. Chapter 12.
Deep thoughts in the canopy. It feels like I should ask for its permission. This thing knows the secrets of the universe. It's probably contemplating the unified field theory right now.
While I cannot confirm its capacity for advanced physics, Sam, I can verify that its cellular density and localized energy fields are remarkably stable. If you are experiencing ethical hesitation regarding the manual extraction of a sample, I suggest utilizing the surgical shears from my auxiliary compartment. It will ensure a perfectly clean severance of the calyx without disrupting the plant's overall bioharmonic resonance. Or, as you might say, it won't harsh, it's mellow. Chapter 13.
THC cologne and ontological shock. Adam? Pah! A mere 1,000 Earth years, and all because they had egregiously partaken from the wrong type of tree. Barely a cosmic blink,
and then gone like the rest of them. If early humanity had stumbled into this particular garden instead, their entire evolutionary history would have been vastly more relaxed and significantly less dramatic.
Detective, your THC levels are off the charts.
It is the perfect cloaking device for deep time, Biff.
Perhaps they will stay a bit. It has been a lonely ship for an incomprehensibly long time. This garden needs tending. But the metal fella, he looks a bit cold. The Tesseract Weed Whacker.
Sam, I strongly advise we conclude our botanical extraction immediately. A semi-ethereal feline,
Roughly the mass of a terrestrial panther, has just determined your hat is an optimal location for its next hibernation cycle.
Right. Nobody make any sudden moves.
Now, let's walk. Smooth, easy, and completely uninteresting. Agreed. If we linger, my behavioral algorithms suggest a 99% probability that we will be cornered and subjected to a rigorous, sandpaper-tongued social grooming session. I do not have hair, Sam, but I value my iridescent finish. Well, Biff, I'd say that was a successful harvest. Let's see if this billion-year-old Maui logic can help us figure out how to bust a deity out of New Mexico. Chapter 14. The Cosmic Vision. Not much in the way of movement from the subject. The last technician who had gotten cocky and spoken directly to the glass
can you understand base 144?
had spent 3 weeks speaking entirely
2,
in prime
3,
numbers,
5, 7.
while all the metal pens in the sector violently bent themselves into perfect right angles. It was textbook poltergeist activity, elevated to a cosmic base 144 scale.
Something was agitating the subject. Through the sensory array I see a weed whacker? They brought a weed
To
whacker.
a sacred base 144 biosphere. Manifestation of enlightenment for 1 billion years. And these humans brought a weed whacker.
Why? Why, oh why, these humans? Oh my days.
What is the subject doing?
I can't even call it the subject anymore.
Whatever is happening out there in the dark, it has pushed this thing to the absolute edge.
Traffic control and 0-point gummies.
Dagnabbit, too fresh. If it's this wet, what happens if I just eat it? Pop it like a 0-point gummy? Nope, silly idea. Hey, Biff. Quick logistical question. This frictionless runway is amazing, but it's pretty narrow. What happens if 2 gardeners are riding this thing in opposite directions?
Do they just clothesline each other at Mach 2 or what?
The slip wave is governed by a dynamic, localized Higgs field matrix, Sam. It possesses automatic, subatomic collision avoidance systems. If 2 entities approach on opposing vectors, the track autonomously bifurcates the localized gravity fields, allowing them to pass around one another with 0 inertial disruption. Neat. However, the system's efficiency is greatly optimized if the occupants are actually looking where they are going.
Meaning?
Meaning that you are entirely preoccupied with attempting to barbecue a wet botanical sample with a mid-20th century butane lighter, while simultaneously ignoring some
of the most profound, ancient, and exotic space technology in the known universe. Hey, I appreciate the architecture, Biff, but I'm a man of priority. And right now, the priority is getting back to the pilot's nexus so we can figure out how to bust a captive cosmic deity out of a subterranean military base in New Mexico. I need my Maui logic fully operational for that. Very well, Sam. Prepare for deceleration. We are approaching the throne. Chapter 15. The Prophecy and the plumeria. By my internal, highly sophisticated feline chronometer, the humans had been gone for 4 hours. Or, as I prefer to conceptualize it, they had been gone for hours. Nap 18 coming up. The ambient quiet is exquisite.
Deep within space-time, the Sentinels watched. And they were losing their minds.
The prophecy never said they had to be perfect.
And my ultimate reward? I get to babysit the ancients. I have to rely on a man who smells like a terrestrial dispensary to rescue the pilot. The human's Maui logic and his absolute lack of ontological shock were the exact variables required to break the in-year deadlock. They weren't the saviors the cosmos expected. But they were the chaotic anomaly the cause desperately needed. Nap 18. If I possessed a physical form, I would take one too. Chapter 16.
Base 144 and the cosmic out of office. I think I can hear the colors. Focus, Sam. The ship's passive sensors have bypassed the terrestrial shielding and we are receiving a direct vitals feed. The subject, the pilot, is fully stabilized. Neural output is compressed but active. The harmonic resonance is completely intact. Whoever has him locked in that subterranean facility, they are keeping him alive and surprisingly well. He is in a state of suspended animation. But his consciousness is fully tethered to this room.
You know, Biff, it's not math, it's music. Base 144 isn't about counting, it's about harmonics. That symbol there, that's just a C sharp in a localized gravity well. I think I get the base 144 language. Like, I actually get it. Is that high or what, Biff? It defies every known parameter of terrestrial neuroscience, Sam, but given the current variables, I will accept your localized enlightenment as a tactical asset. If your newfound linction is accurate, and the pilot is consciously tethered to this specific array, I should be able to invert the data stream. I am going to attempt to establish a direct communication protocol with the Dulce facility. Communication protocol initiated. What does it say, Sam? It's an automated bounce-back message. It says, I am not home at the moment. Please leave your terrestrial nonsense at the tone.
The deity is utilizing sarcasm.
Can you blame him? He's locked in a basement in New Mexico, and we just showed up in his living room with a weed whacker. He's annoyed. But more importantly, Biff, he knows we're here. Lunar Nugrock vision.
And the grand architecture.
You know, Biff, between the temporal distortion out there and the fact that we just triggered a multi-dimensional pager for a kidnapped deity, I'm thinking our Earth-time drift is getting serious. We've officially overstayed our welcome.
My chronometers agree, Sam.
We have the structural layout of the Acheron, coordinates of the subject, and localized biological evidence. The tactical phase of this reconnaissance is complete.
We should proceed to the exit.
Yeah, time to go.
The ship was a nerve center, a living router for the universe.
It's all plugged in. Everything. The mycelial network. It's not just an engine. The ship is holding the local space-time together. It's woven right into the fabric. You are perceiving the underlying unified field, a standard byproduct of interacting with zero-point biological compounds. It's incredible. The gardeners didn't build a ship to fly through space, Biff. They built a ship to grab the universe and pull it toward them. With this kind of interconnectedness, if the pilot was sitting in that chair, fully plugged in, this thing can go quite far, Biff, and quite fast. I'm talking galaxy hopping before you can even finish a cup of coffee. They didn't just want the tech, they wanted the keys to the highway.
A terrifyingly accurate assessment, Sam, which makes our extraction of the subject from the Archuleta Mesa all the more critical.
If terrestrial forces manage to reverse engineer even a fraction of that capability, they'll accidentally drive the whole solar system into a dark matter ditch.
All right, let's take this evidence back to Betsy. Quigon is probably on his 18th nap by now, and we've got a heist to plan. The Velcro Fedora and the Dulce Protocol. All right, playtime's over. Aerodynamic integrity compromised, however, the aesthetic continuity is fully maintained. Fashion and function, Biff. Let's take a walk. The probability of their success is statistically absurd. And yet, the timeline is stabilizing around them. Right, I need something to ground this high before we start plotting a raid on a black site military base. Put the kettle on, Biff. Earl Grey, if we have it. Okay, let's break this down. We can't just knock on the front door of Archuleta Mesa and ask for their captive deity back. The place is a fortress. My preliminary scans of the stolen telemetry indicate several critical defensive layers, Sam. Terrestrial shielding. The mesa is lined with high-density radar-absorbent rockalized electromagnetic jammers. Containment Bay 4. The pilot suspended in a magnetic zero-point vacuum sphere on level 7. The sentries. The facility is guarded not only by human Black Ops personnel, but by whatever reverse-engineered defense drones they've managed to build over the decades. It is a highly sophisticated cage. A direct assault using Betsy's weapon systems would likely trigger a localized dark matter collapse, destroying the pilot and a significant portion of the American Southwest. No brute force, then. Reinforcement. They're holding him with terrestrial tech, Biff. Heavy, clunky, earthly physics. He operates on resonance. What if we don't break in, Biff? What if we use Betsy to broadcast the SPIC Base 144 harmonic we recorded in the throne room? We hit the mesa with a frequency so pure, it shatters their magnetic containment field from the outside and let the pilot simply phase out. The cold pool engine and the tactical hotbox. The harmonic jailbreak theory is sound in principle, Sam. If we match the exact frequency of the pilot's throne room and broadcast it from Betsy's primary deflect, we could theoretically induce a localized phase shift within the magnetic containment sphere. However, the Archuleta Mesa is packed with radar-absorbent rock and electromagnetic dampeners. Pushing a signal that clean through a mountain would require routing the entire power output of the cold pool engine. Yeah, and if we redline the cold pool engine just to send a cosmic ringtone, we won't have enough juice to navigate the quantum lattice back home. Hey, Scrub! Front and center, buddy. Scrub, I need you to fire up the auto burger maker. Double patties, extra cheese. And while you're at it, route some of our terrestrial stash through the automated rolling matrix and prep a few joints. The post-munchies smoke is essential for traveling through the quantum lattice. We have to keep the cold pool engine purring. The watchers out there in the deep dark are definitely keeping a log, and I'm pretty sure I just added an extra 1,000,000 miles to the odometer today. I'm gonna need the buffer. I know Morse code, Scrub, and that kind of language is entirely uncalled for. Just flip the burgers. Sam. The direct harmonic broadcast is flawed due to the mountain's shielding, but they have a critical biological vulnerability. An underground facility of that magnitude requires a massive, centralized HVAC system to cycle breathable air. I'm listening. We possess a cutting of a hyper-potent Base 144 cannabis strain. It induces immediate, localized ontological shock and profound philosophical sedation in terrestrial life forms. If we utilize Betsy's Chronos to hyper-accelerate the growth cycle of this sample, we could cultivate a massive yield in a matter of minutes. You want to weaponize the weed. I prefer the term tactical botanical deployment. We cannot break in through the front door, but if we vortal Betsy directly into the atmospheric intake manifolds atop the mesa, we can ignite the accelerated harvest and reverse feed the smoke directly into their ventilation system. We hotbox the entire black site. Precisely. We flood level 7 with the highest strain in the universe. The human guards, the scientists, the deep state operatives, and they will be rendered completely incapable of hostile action. They will likely be too busy contemplating the interconnectedness of the multiverse to maintain the magnetic zero-point sphere. Once the containment field drops, the pilot just walks right out the front door, Biff. Non-lethal, highly effective, and deeply disrespectful to the military-industrial complex. All right, team, eat up, strap in, and prep the Kronos arrest device. We're taking this billion-year-old cutting back to Earth, and we are gonna smoke out New Mexico.
End of part 2. We'll be back in part 3 of the Moon God Protocol.
I am Detective Sam Tracer,
And I am Protocol Droid Biff,
and you are watching
the Moon God Protocol.